Hello, everyone. I'm Cynthia Trejo, and I am the Chief Encouragement Officer at Her Element Network. And this is Linda Gregory.
Hi, everyone.
She is a business instructor with,
Western Technical College.
yes. And Linda and I have been friends for almost a year. Feels like longer.
It does.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's awesome. We
Yeah.
get along really great.
Yeah.
I had asked Linda if she would join me today in speaking about women, right? Women, things that we face on a day-to-day basis, things that keep us or hold us back, our mindset. And just it's really just having a conversation,
Yeah.
right, Linda?
Right?
When I asked her if she would, we were in the car, we're having this great conversation, and I asked her, "Hey, Linda, would you like to be interviewed in this? Actually, this is our first session." And she right away her mind started going. So I wanted her to share a little bit about that and her thought process. So
Okay. I think one of the responses was, you want me to qualify? What do I know? And it was so funny because we laughed after that.
right, yes,
What do I have to offer? I mean, and that's just where my mind goes when people ask me to do things, and I usually think to myself, you want me to do what? How am I qualified? How do I fit into that? I feel sometimes like I don't have the skills, forgetting that, I look back in my work history in my life and never thinking that I have anything to bring to the table. So,
but you
yeah.
do. You obviously do. So you're a business instructor. You're an educated woman, right? You have a lot of life experiences. You have a lot to bring to the table, right? Um, we as women have a lot to bring to the table, and we tend to hold ourselves back. We tend to minimize or minimize our experience, minimize what we know, our knowledge. And we were having this conversation about how sometimes we think it's just us feeling that way. We think, and also, as you think about it, how quickly our thought process goes, right? If we're gonna do something, and all of a sudden this thought comes in, and it just shuts down everything, and it stops us from doing what we were gonna do, even though we're capable, we're able, and we're able, we're willing.
Yeah.
Something happens, and boom, there it is, and we stop ourselves right there, right on. How do you say it? Right on track, or right on the track, or how do you say it?
In our tracks.
In our tracks. There you go.
Yeah, and
So-
that's so true. It's unfortunate, but it's actually really true. And as you were talking about that just now, I was flashing back to different scenarios at different times in my life when certain things had happened, and I thought, well, I'm not going to do that. I don't know how to do that. I've never done that before, and I think that's one of the things that comes up is I've never done it before, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to try.
But as you're saying this, one of the things that comes to mind is I've done a lot of research. Apart from my own experiences, I've done a lot of research on things that hold back women, things that we need to do to overcome. And one of them is when we're applying for work, for a job, right? 90% of men will apply for a job if they don't have all the requirements. You look at the job description, you look at all the requirements within the job description, and if they meet a few, they feel qualified. For women, we feel like we need to be 100% qualified to be able to apply for that position. And that's really holding us back. It's holding us back. If we have the abilities, if we have the skills, the knowledge, the background, and the experience, we need to move forward with that.
That is so true.
There might be a few things here and there that on the job description that we don't have experience in,
Right.
but that shouldn't keep you from applying.
Right.
What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen when you apply for a job that you may not feel fully qualified for?
Yeah. That they say no.
That they say no,
Like we haven't been told that
Right?
to our children, huh?
right? I mean, gosh, as a child, you're told no how many times, right?
Oh my gosh, it's hundreds. It's hundreds upon hundreds. Yeah.
And for guys, that's not an issue. It's not
Right.
an issue that they're going to apply for this position
Right.
that they may not be qualified for, because you know what they're thinking about? What if I am? What if I do get that call? What if I am able to? And I'll learn as I go. I will learn as I go. That's what we need to do. Right?
That's very true. I think that one of the things as well that, and I'm just going to jump right
Go
in
for it.
here,
Uh-huh.
is you and I have had conversations,
Yes.
and especially when we were taking our little day trip, we were having conversations about what stops us,
Right. Yes.
and sure enough, it's actually the way we think. I was sharing with Cynthia that I've had quite a bit of opportunities throughout my lifetime for different entrepreneurship ventures, I guess you would say. And I got to a certain point and I stopped, and we're still trying to figure out to this day what stops me. What happens when I sign up, and instead of running the business, because it's so bizarre when you hear someone say to you as a woman, you're capable of doing this. And for some reason, sometimes you hear it before, but I guess when you hear it, it's like, well, maybe I am. And even in the process, when you're working on a business, there's still doubt on the way. There's still doubt in the process. I guess that's what I want to say. In the process, there's still doubt that, can I really do this? And then once you do it, am I really doing this? Do I know what I'm doing? We always question ourselves. And for some reason, the response we get back is not the response we need. And so we were talking about
Right.
having someone, encouraging, someone to lift us up, someone to remind us that yes, you're on a journey. It's going to be a little challenging. It's going to be a little hard, but you can actually do this. I have seen numerous amount of women who, when you say words to them like, you can do this. Who told you that you couldn't do this? Someone along the line told us we couldn't do it, and we just shut down from there. We literally shut down. And everything else that happens in our life, we think, well, someone told me I couldn't do it before, so clearly I must not be able to do it now. The bizarre thing is, we are in marriages, we raise our children. Those are full-time jobs. We hold down a full-time job, and we can't do it? Wow.
And really, sometimes it's ourselves telling us
Yes.
we can't do it, right?
Right.
Sometimes it's like, oh, I can't do that. But we really need to just go back and when we have to catch ourselves, number one, right? We have to catch ourselves having those thoughts,
Yes.
right? Because if we're not aware that we're having that thought, it becomes a habit. It becomes it's just something that occurs naturally,
Yeah.
and we're not even aware that we're putting ourselves out or that we're holding ourselves back. So we have to have a conscious awareness of the thoughts that we're having
Absolutely.
throughout the day. Throughout the day, having that conscious awareness of, oh, I just told myself that I can't do that.
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
and then remind yourself, yes, I can.
Right.
I think we were also sharing right now that it's important that we share these things, right?
Right.
We're not the only ones having these thoughts. All of us have these thoughts, right? But when we share those thoughts, you have an encourager. If you have that support system, right? If you have your friends, coworkers, other people that are a support system, what we call our tribe, right?
Yes.
You want to have someone that you can go to and say, these are the challenges that I'm experiencing, so that you can have that support to tell that, those that can cheer you on and tell you, yes, you can.
Yes.
Not only
Yes.
not only that, they tell you, yes, you can, but that you believe that you can.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's really, really important.
It really is. That is so 100% true. And as you were sharing that information, something I was thinking about that I actually shared in my class with, the students, and that was, we are so busy telling ourselves what we can't do that when someone tells us what we can do, we just kind of second guess. And it's funny because the thought, and this is exactly what I shared with them, is your thoughts become your words, which is true. You start thinking about you can't do it, then you say I can't do it, and then your actions show you won't do it, you know, which is unfortunate where we need to switch that thinking. But
Have
it's
you
very
ever
true.
have you ever done something where you felt that you weren't capable of doing, and you did it anyway?
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
you moved forward in fear, right?
Yes.
I always tell my kids when they tell
Yes.
me, I'm afraid, and I tell them, be afraid, but do it anyway,
Yeah.
right? Because being afraid will keep you from doing stuff.
Yep.
Being afraid is not going to, there's no action behind being afraid. So we all have fear,
Yeah.
different kinds of fear.
Yeah.
So be afraid and do it anyway. Because once you get past that, once you break through that fear, then you know that you are able to, that you can do it, or that, yeah, it was difficult, but I did it anyway, or whatever the case may be. But you have to break through that fear.
Yes, that is
Right.
so true. And it's hard. It is really, really, it can be a challenge. And if you don't have a support system, someone that you can open up to and that you can actually trust, someone that you can trust that whatever you say to them, they're not going to be judgmental, they're not going to be critical with you, they're not going to degrade you, they're not going to demean you, but they're going to say, okay, it's okay to have that fear. Okay, let's see where we can take it from here. Let's see what hurdle you need to get over next. You know, that's I think a very challenging road for a lot of women. The reason I say that because we as women have entrusted our lives, different parts of it, to other women in our past, and we've had women expose that, you know, which once that happened, what happens? We draw back and we put up a wall and say, you know what? It's going to take a long time for someone else, for me to trust another woman with my secrets and know that she's going to be able to, you know, help me out in any way or encourage me. It takes a while. It takes a
I
while,
know.
but it's so
Yeah.
worth it. Though.
Yeah, no, I think really, those are the relationships, right? With it, another thing that I tell my children is, when you're in a relationship, whether it's a friendship, boyfriend, girlfriend, they're gonna disappoint you. I tell them they're gonna disappoint you,
Absolutely.
but it's not. I'm not saying that they're gonna disappoint you intentionally. We're human,
Absolutely.
right? And we make errors, and in relationships, we're gonna disappoint each other.
Yeah.
It's having that open communication and realizing that you did something, right?
Absolutely.
So, people are gonna disappoint you.
Right. Right.
That's gonna happen.
Right. Right.
But when you have that open communication and when you get disappointed, I think really, I mean, okay. So what I'm thinking right now as I'm speaking, when you're exercising and you're lifting weights, right? And what has to happen for you to build muscle is that you have to break, right? You have to break. I don't know if you have to break the muscle, but you have to what? You have to.
You have to, and I don't know if I'm using the right
Right.
terminology, but you have to get to a point where the muscle is stressed enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
where-
right,
yeah,
exactly.
where
You
it
have
feels
to
like it's gonna break.
you have to work the muscle, and you have to cause pain within the muscle for the muscle to grow. Right?
That's painful.
It's painful, right? You don't work out, and you have no pain, right? No pain, no gain. You work out, you're working that muscle, it's growing, but it's hurting because you're putting stress on the muscle.
Absolutely.
And so that happens with growth.
Yes.
That's growth. And so how can we grow without disappointments?
Yeah.
How can we grow without experiencing challenges? How can we grow without experiencing failure?
Right.
How can we grow without
Right.
those things?
That
We
is so
we can't. We have to experience failure to experience success.
Yeah.
We have to experience the no's
Yeah.
to overcome. Those things are necessary. And so going back to what we were talking about,
Right.
that is really, the thoughts that we as women have. And I can say, most people, right?
Absolutely.
Male, female, but this is a conversation for women.
Right.
How can we overcome? How can we overcome? So, Linda, is there anything you want to have any last thoughts on in overcoming?
What I what I can share in order to overcome, in order to start taking those bricks down, because that's exactly what we build. This is not anything a lot of us women haven't heard before, but building friendships, because at some point in time we are going to have to trust someone. You know, we can't go it alone. And it's true. And even if we try, and I myself used to have thoughts of, well, I can't trust anyone. You know, why even build a friendship? But it doesn't work like that. You know, I do need my tribe of women around me to encourage me and encourage me and tell me, you know, you can do this. It's okay. No matter what happened to you before, no matter who happened to you before, none of that matters. To build a network of women, and especially as we get older, this is so critical. To build a network of women, a team of women that you can rely on, that you can count on, that you can trust. And I know they say that you only have, 2 or 3 best friends in your life, but regardless of that, if you build and surround yourself, with a network of women who are encouraging, and you decide that's it. The only people I'm going to have around me are people who are encouraging, who I can build up,
Right.
and who can build me up as well. Sky's the limit.
Yes.
Sky's the limit, because you even if you have a negative thought and you're talking to them, they're going to switch that conversation around and say, "That's okay. Try this. What about this? Hey."
Right. Right.
Instead of doing that, why don't you do this? Instead of doing a workout for 5 days a week, why don't you start off with 2? And you know what? Start with 15 minutes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
If you can't have a smoothie every day, try it every other day. Replace one meal. Why don't you go do this with your business rather, than going to do that? Because it is so true. It is so, so true. It is the words that come out of our mouths. I never used to think that was true, and I ran a test on myself, and it is critically true. So I refuse to surround myself with anyone who is not encouraging and uplifting. I refuse to do it, because I have been there and done that. Now, that's not to say I'm perfect. I'm not. I'm still growing, and I still have fears that I still have to face, and I'm still hesitant about taking certain steps and doing certain things. But with building a network of women who are encouraging and uplifting, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't reach the goals that I have planned.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually one of the reasons why Her Element was created. Her Element is women are now in their element when it comes to being in business. 57% of women are in the workforce. 40% of businesses in the U.S. are owned by women. And then when it comes to getting a college education, women are outpacing men.
Yes.
When it comes to getting a college education. So women are out there in the workforce, right? Her Element was developed to help those that are pursuing their dreams through that tribe, through that network of women. And I'm going to be sharing more on that. We have a program, professional development, mentors, advisors. We're talking mind, body, spirit, everything. So the whole 9 yards, like Linda likes to say, the whole 9 yards. So thank you all for joining us today. Just, it's just a conversation, a little bit of insight of some of the things that we as women think. And you all, give us some feedback. Tell us what you think. I'll put a link there of Her Element, but we'll be sharing more as the days goes on.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good one, ladies.